Hi, everyone. Good morning. I wasn't planning on streaming this morning. I meant to stream last night, but I was just I don't know, man. I don't know if it's because I'm just getting old and shit, but I didn't have to work this weekend and I took it off to like do something. And I didn't even really do the thing I took it off to do. I just slept, relaxed. I did one protest. That was it. Well, not even a protest, more like a counter presence, I call it. But that's it. That's pretty much all I did this weekend. And man, I could not be happier. But so yeah, I slept last night. But I woke up good and early this morning and dyed my hair. I tried to do something with my hair and it didn't work out. So now I'm stuck with this all day. But so I woke up this morning, I took my hair out and I saw that the thing I had visioned I did not accomplish. And why is my light turning off? What the fuck? All right. So and I'm like, well, I got some time to kill. So I'm just sitting here going through shit. And I came across something. I'm like, oh, I'm like, well, I can make a video. No, I want to get shit out. I want to get shit out. Okay. I mean, no disrespect when I do this. I really don't. I mean, there's no love lost between myself and this other creator, but I still don't mean any disrespect here because it's about what this subject matter, right? Because the more I learn about this, the more of the videos and shit that I watch, not just from BJ Investigates, but from other creators, the more I'm sucked in, the more I'm enthralled, the more I'm enraged, because this is clearly just a bunch of bullshit. This whole telehealth biofeedback monitoring system, this whole data collection. I mean, that's what this all is. This is all just a ruse to get people's information, to get money, and to just sell them a bunch of bullshit. It's a ruse to get as much money as they can out of people and investors, while in return giving them as little as possible, except for maybe information, in which case they can sell it twice. You know what I mean? So when I saw this, I just had to speak up and say something, because I don't want anything to tarnish, because like they said, for the most part, we're all amateurs here on YouTube. Okay. Sure, BJ Investigates as an attorney, so she's probably like the least amateur out of everyone here, but it's like we're also YouTube channel. We have no one backing us other than ourselves, really. So we're not some entity, we're not some media conglomerate or whatever. We're just us, we're just ourselves. So I think that we need to hold ourselves to a little bit of a higher standard, because we don't have that backing. We have to earn our reputation on things, sort of. So when I see someone just putting something out that's clearly just, I don't know, it's bullshit. It is. And I just want to call it. This creator may not even realize it's bullshit, but I don't see how they can't realize it, because it is. So I just want to get this out there before anything comes from it, because this will backfire. I've seen it. I've seen this happen time and again. I've seen it happen, because this is a common employing tactic that I've seen groups in the anti-vax movement use over and over again. Like, they still try using this to this day. So I just want to throw that out there. But what I'm talking about here is a post by Down the Rabbit Hole News. And I mean, and I'll be honest, it's giving me a little bit of deja vu way back into the whole Margot McCride thing, when she put that online complaint online or on YouTube here and kept calling it a police report and investigation. It's not. It wasn't. And this isn't anything either. So she put a post up and said, "That surprise army, hashtag that surprise army. Lord have mercy, what do we have here?" Okay, and access to FDA, and she posts screenshots of this. Now, this is bullshit. This is nothing. Anyone who's done any kind of advocacy regarding vaccines, that you would have heard of VAERS, right? What the hell does it stand for? Vaccine adverse something. I can't remember what it stands for. But it's a self-reporting system. It's a website, a government website, where anyone at all can go and make a report on anyone else at all. I can go on there and say that my son or daughter got a vaccine and it turned them into the Incredible Hulk. I shit you not, that was done just to prove a point by, I forget who it was that did it, but they kind of realize the error of their ways for doing that. But I'm just putting it out there. And I've seen people blame like deaths from car accidents on vaccines. I mean, gunshots. Death was an adverse reaction due to a vaccine through gunshot. You know what I mean? Anyone can put anything they want up there, and they oftentimes do. This is no different. This is like the medical equipment equivalent to that, because it's a self-reporting system. I'm going to show you what I mean. So click on the link here, and I have to share the other screen. So annoying. I wish that they had an option where it just like shared your whole Google thing. So whatever tab you went on, it stayed with that, but it doesn't. So like right here, it says MOD adverse event report. So they're calling this an adverse event report right off the bat. But if you scroll down, it says here, is this an adverse event report? It says no. Okay, so right there, it's nothing. And I don't know who made this report. This report was made in 2022, so it's over a year old. Whoever did it in right here, April 7th, 2022. So I don't know who did it. I also don't know how this was found either. This seems this couldn't have been just found, just stumbled upon. This had to have been directly revealed. So I'm thinking someone might have sent this to her. I don't know. But if I were her, I'd question why that person sent this to them. Now, I'm going to go down here. This is, for those who don't know what I mean by self-reporting system, if you go to, where do I see that? Where was the link I just saw? Oh, right here. Submit an adverse event report. So you click on that. Again, I have to do the fucking share thing. So annoying. Okay, MedWatch online voluntary reporting form. That means that no one's seeking anyone out to report anything. Anyone can just come on and make a report. Okay, it says, welcome. Health professionals, consumers, and patients can voluntarily report observed or suspected adverse events for human medical products to FDA. Voluntary reporting can help FDA identify unknown risk for approved medical products. Reporting can be done through our online reporting portal or by downloading, completing, and then submitting FDA Form 3500 or 3500B if you're a consumer patient to MedWatch, the FDA Safety Information and Adverse Event Reporting Program. That's what it is. Okay, vaccine adverse event reporting, something for purveyors, I think. While not mandatory, FDA encourages reporters to provide their contact information in case FDA needs to gather more information. Note that reporters can request within the report the FDA not release their contact information to the manufacturer. So you don't even have to say who you are when you're making this report or why you're making this report. You can just make a report and you can stay anonymous throughout the entire thing, or you can give the FDA your information and request that the FDA not share that information. Okay. Which, I mean, I agree with that. That's how things should be. But I think that things should also be observed to be what they are. And the reason why I am very familiar with this is because this is a tactic that we've seen time and time again employed by the anti-vaccine movement. They will pull on VAERS. They will pull on the VAERS data and use that as though that's some sort of defining data about the alleged harm of vaccines. And you have to use, if you're going to analyze data, you have to make sure that the data you're analyzing is in fact reputable, is credible. And when it's just everyone and anyone reporting whatever they want, it's not credible, because people will lie. People lie all the time. People always lie. I mean, you cannot avoid that. Even the most honest people among us will find yourselves telling lies, whether they're little white lies, whether they're big lies, whatever. That's disputable. That's arguable. But people are not honest to a fault, to anything. So, and believe me, that's been something that's been hard for me to really accept, because coming online and I would see things, or I would, watch things happen, or I would read things. There's no way that no one would come online and lie like that. There's no way. Well, boy, was I an idiot. So that's why I'm throwing that out there. It's hard to accept. It's hard to realize. It's hard to accept. I don't know. It just is. So thank you for taking the time to submit a MedWatch report. If you wish to download or print, okay. Information you should report to MedWatch. Unexpected side effects or adverse events can include anything from skin rashes to more serious complications. Product quality problems, such as information if a product isn't working properly or if it has a defect. Product use, medication errors that can be prevented. Therapeutic failures. Okay, so what's my going on? There's nothing showing itself. I don't understand. Oh, okay. Is that even all right? See right here. Okay, where to report other FDA regulated product safety information goes through reporting adverse to the vaccine adverse event reporting system. VAERS online at HHS government. Okay, so yeah, that's what this is. Now, and the reason why I want to point this out is because I walked into this whole situation knowing nothing. I never heard of any of these people. And slowly, I mean, I know I haven't really shown my progress along the way much because I'm nowhere near done progressing, I feel like. Every day I'm watching at least a couple videos about this or reading a couple things from websites about this every day. So the more I've been progressing is my point. And the more I progress along learning about this, the more and more credible I find BJ and the information she's put out there, because I can see where she got it from. She talks about timelines. She values timelines, and I've always felt the same way. And you can see the timeline, her timeline, and her progression along the story. Like you can see it, and I get it, and I can see where it's coming from, and I understand it. And I feel like shitless is kind of a shortcut when there shouldn't be one. Okay. And I feel like you don't have to be someone involved in any kind of other government reporting system. You don't have to be knowledged or informed on this to look at this, wonder what the fuck it is. So I don't agree with putting this out there because this is not credible. It's not. This is only going to tarnish the credibility of those who have put in the work, and I don't get me wrong, I'm not worried about my credibility. I've been putting minimal amount of work so far on this. I've watched shit and I've read shit, and it's been easy for me to watch and read shit because I've had interest in it. So I'm not talking about me here. But there are people who have a lot hanging on this, who aren't just fighting this in the court of public opinion, but are fighting this in actual court. So I feel like there should be more due diligence done before putting shit out there. And this had none, I feel like. And also, too, I think about on a personal, and hell, you can even say selfish standpoint. I don't really care because it's not about that, but think whatever you want. I know I saw the harm that was done when putting out an online complaint and talking about it and representing it as though it was something it wasn't. I saw the harm that did to the people talked about in that complaint form. And I've seen the harm that it did amongst popular opinion or whatever. And yeah, I don't want to see that happen again. So it's unfortunate that this was being put out there to represent something other than what it actually is. Now, that's not to say that the things said in the report are incorrect or wrong. It's not to say that. I don't know. But that's the thing. No one knows. Because when these reports are made to these websites, to these reporting systems, because they're self-reporting, it's almost impossible to verify any of the claims made. Because like an angry mother can make a report, an angry widowed spouse or whatever can make a report. And they're not medical professionals, so they can't state for sure any causation, really. I mean, at best they might be able to prove correlation, but they can't prove causation. So but they present it as if it were there. This was causation, but you can't prove it. So because of that, these websites, they don't really follow up on anything. Once in a while, they may. Pretty much the only time anything's followed up upon with VAERS is when, in addition to a VAERS report, there's also a petition made to the NVICP, which is the vaccine court, is what it's called. That's usually when something is followed up upon. But in the absence of that, no one really follows up on it because there's so many reports made, and some of them are so ridiculous that it would be such a waste of taxpayers' time or taxpayers' money, and such a waste of the time of those who are doing this, that you just can't be expected to follow up on everything. So that's the thing. That's the problem. Because of that, this can't be verified. This won't be verified. It won't be. And especially if you don't know who made the report, how can you go about verifying it when you don't know where it came from? So I want to throw that out there as well. Now I want to go back here to the actual report itself, because like I said, what I'm saying doesn't mean necessarily that the report is incorrect. So I want to read it because it could be true. It could be. I'm not representing it as that. So, patient problem arrhythmia. So what they're trying to claim that this device is what caused her heart arrhythmia, which I don't even. Okay, I mean, when did she use the device, and in correlation to when she passed away? Like, what's the timeline on that? That's what I want to know. And I don't know. Maybe they may provide. I'll be honest, I didn't read it yet. So event type death. Event description. A tech startup called Autonomous User Rehabilitation Agent, AURA, is marketing experimental virtual reality applications and tools to psychiatric care facilities, local governments, and rehabilitation hospitals. The problem is that one user of this tech is already dead, and we have discovered that Lima lied publicly about the victim's cause of death, as well as the drugs in the victim's system at the time of death. AURA's CEO, going by several pseudonyms, has appeared publicly on interviews and YouTube videos touting the product as evidence-based, but points to no medical tests or studies. This is true. That is, I cannot find a single medical test or study done on any of the things Lima has been pushing. I can't. She keeps referring to these things, but I can't find them anywhere. Like I've looked through like clinictrials.gov. Like I can't find it, anything. I can't find the mention of it even. This is so bizarre. However, as recently as 2021, Aura's program director admitted publicly that the company is still running, quote, case studies to prove the technology's efficacy. The CEO publicly conspired with a famous YouTuber to put a homeless, crack-addicted woman named, into court-ordered treatment in whatever county, whatever, quickly relocated to a facility. I don't know why this shit can't be included, like really, but whatever. Where she was used as a test subject for the experimental virtual reality technology. Approach, which I'm just going to say Lima's approach, which she calls virtual reality exposure therapy, depends on intentionally triggering strong emotional responses in addicts and mental patients in order to, quote, help with their healing. The problem is Lima is using this technology on people she puts in treatment against their will. Amanda was a homeless woman living on Skid Row. Lima publicly conspired to force Amanda into court-ordered treatment, relocated Amanda to a different state, and used this experimental technology on Amanda under the threat of going to prison for 3 to 5 years. Amanda ultimately died from cardiac arrhythmia, but Lima appeared on a YouTube video stating Amanda's cause of death was seizure disorder. Lima also stated that Amanda did not have anything in her system but Tylenol. I have obtained the autopsy report, and that is also false. Amanda, I can't stand this. Amanda had many pharmaceutical medications in her system at that time, including 3 for high blood pressure and 1 for seizures. I am afraid that Lima is using this technology on other vulnerable people against their will, who will meet the same fate as Amanda has. Also petitioned to put MTV reality star, and a conservatorship. I have reason to believe she is using this technology on him as well. FDA safety report ID number. Okay. I like how it says, I have obtained the autopsy report. I can't imagine for 1 second that BJ filled this out. Well, maybe even if she did, there's a reason I think she wouldn't have put this out, because this was made in 2022, over a year ago. In fact, the FDA, it says that the FDA received the report on 4/14/2022, so a week after the report was made. So this has been available online for, I'd say, about a year. Yeah, I don't buy page updated 9/2023. When did that hit me? Huh. All right, I'm gonna look into this more because I'm kind of curious about a few things, but nothing related to this video right now that I'm doing. But so yeah, there's that. And again, I mean no disrespect. I don't. I'm just saying that the more I learn about the situation, the more invested I become. And I'm becoming invested because this is something that's kind of, I don't know, it's related to a lot of the things I've done online the past, I don't even know, like 8 years maybe. There's some in there, and don't get me wrong, I'm not an expert on anything. I'm not even close. You know that saying, jack of all trades, expert of none. Well, dude, I'm not even a jack. I'm more like a 10 of some trades, an expert on none. Okay, that's what I consider myself. But I mean, that doesn't mean that I don't know anything, because though limited and small, that especially by comparison, what I do know is still something. And this is a tactic that will not represent any of the arguments well. This is something that will backfire because it's not verifiable, and it's, if anything, it's not dependable. Like it's almost comical when we start seeing VAERS data used to support any arguments in vaccine advocacy, because we know, we're not experts. None of us are really experts, myself and colleagues I'm speaking of, but we know enough to know that that's not dependable. It's not real data. It's I don't know. It's imagined data, if anything. So when I see someone spouting this off as kind of the same stuff, I feel like this is going to discredit this argument, this push, this movement, if you will. I hate to use the word movement, I really do, because I don't think that this is really movement. When people start seeing some fucked up shit happening and they call it out as fucked up shit, they shouldn't be called movement. They should just be human nature, opinion. So I don't like to use the word movement, but in this context, I'll use it. This will discredit the movement. This will discredit the argument. And I feel like from what I've seen and the people she's associated with, these are pros. These are pros in the spread of misinformation and the tactic of psyops, however you want to word it. These are fucking pros. These are people, they're taking place straight out of QAnon here, and they're employing them. So I feel like you really need to show up with your A game. And the only thing that really disputes a lot of these tactics, most of these tactics, is transparency and truth and the facts. Okay. And also not letting it personally represent you as a person in the argument, because it's not about you. You can only argue the facts. You can only argue the subject matter. You can't look at this from a personal point of view and aim to be right, because this isn't about who's right. It can't be. You'll never win that way. There will be no, you will fail. So when I see things like that happen that are going to counteract the attempts, the efforts made by everyone involved, I'm going to speak up and say something. I'm sorry, I am. And sit there and me, well, could have sent an email or this and that, done it privately. This was out privately. This was out publicly. So I feel like to counteract it, to try to stop the negative spread of this publicly made post, there needs to be a public statement too. That's my opinion. I could be wrong, but it's my opinion nonetheless. So that's why I'm doing this publicly. So yeah. And I haven't looked at chat the entire time I started streaming, so I'm going to look at it now. I know this probably isn't something that interests a lot of people, but I get it. But it does interest me. So, and it's my channel. My fucking cat. Hey Reagan. Hey Eliar. Hey Megan. Hi Lily. Hey Triple Threat. Hey Sydney. Hey OAH. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I like wearing red. I don't have as much red as I like. Oh, I didn't even know that was say happy. Oh, yeah, it is. That's right. I didn't even realize today's a holiday. Happy Indigenous Day. Hi, Elizabeth. Hi, Sunny D. Hi, Dirty Uncle Sal. Uncle Sal. Dude, they're kind of like Wikipedia. Anyone can report anything in Wikipedia, anything found there to be true. Exactly. That's why I am the biggest supporter of Wikipedia for finding and obtaining actual verifiable, dependable sources. Because if you go to Wikipedia and you look something up, you have to look at the sources they cite. Most of the time, the sources they cite, I feel, are worthy, but not always. So I feel like it's an excellent place to find a bunch of sources on a specific topic and utilize some of those sources. It's perfect for that. But Jesus Christ, yeah, don't use it as a source. Oh, see, that's interesting, Dirty Uncle. Hopefully anyone who may have had a suspected unusual side effect, potentially from a medication, medical device, etc., called their doctors before they ran to that reporting site to make a report. Yes. Like I know for the case of vaccines, there are certain things that if and when reported to a physician, the physician is mandated to report to VAERS, certain things. It's been a little while since I really made any of these arguments, so I don't feel confident in like reciting what those specific things are, but there are specific things. So, I mean, simply by talking to your physician, if it's something that should be mandated to report it, chances are it is, and they should, report it. But yeah, not every little thing has to be reported, but every little thing can be reported, because one of the arguments made from the anti-vax community is that only like 1% of adverse reactions are ever reported to VAERS. Now, technically, this is true. It is. But it's not 1% of deaths are reported to VAERS. I mean, there aren't a whole bunch. There aren't 99% of parents who have lost a child, possibly or suspectively to vaccines, sitting around thinking, "Oh, I just don't feel like making that report today." That's not happening. Okay, it's not. The 99% of reports that aren't made are things like a fever. Okay, because that is an adverse reaction, an adverse event, rather. My bad, an adverse event. So like a fever, a sore arm, or wherever the injection site was, that area being sore, achiness, tiredness, other flu-like symptoms. Those are adverse events. And it's the majority of the things not reported are those things, especially those. In terms of payouts made by the vaccine court, though, and these are those petition vaccine courts on behalf of whatever complications they were having, and then were accepted to be heard by the vaccine court and then won by the vaccine court. Those payouts, the majority of payouts are made due to improper administration, which means that the person giving the vaccine had done so improperly and caused some sort of muscle damage or tissue damage at the injection site. That's the majority of the payouts. The biggest reason, the majority of the reasons for payouts is due to that. So I think that that's also something important. But again, this information, though, this stuff isn't the stuff that the anti-vax movement presents to people. No, instead, they present like, oh, X amount of deaths happened. No, X amount of people reporting to VAERS claim that deaths happened. That's what the data that they present is actually depicting. That's it. So, I mean, I don't know. I find it funny how people want to sit there and say like, oh, do your own research or whatever, or make sure you have all the facts or transparency or what's the phrase they use? Fuck. I can't remember it now. A consent about consent. Having like all the information, like full disclosure, consent, or some shit like that. The people who claim that are purposely withholding very important information that totally changes the entire context of the claim being made. So I find that, I don't know, kind of hypocritical. But that's a whole nother argument. I'm not going to get into that. I already know I made enough enemies with my stance on the vaccine movement or the anti-vaccine movement. And here's the thing. I don't care if you vaccinate or not. Everyone has a right to deny or refuse vaccination. I fully support that. If you don't want to, even for the dumbest of reasons, in my opinion, I fully support your ability to refuse any and all medical procedures, including vaccination. You have that right, and that right should always be protected, no matter your reason. Okay? That's a hill I will fucking die on. My problem with the whole movement is when people like me, who don't have any kind of education in this field, any kind of experience or background, then take to social media to tell everyone else what the fuck to do. You will never hear me say, you should get the vaccine. You should do this. Never. It's not my place to. You will hear me say, you should talk to your physician about this. That's it. But that's not what you'll hear from many anti-vaxxers. They want to claim that your child or whomever will, in fact, perish should you get this procedure done. That's my problem. So. Yep. I agree with that, Dirty. So like anything you suspect, from whether it's a vaccine, from a medical device, from a medication, whatever, anything you suspect as being any kind of adverse event, whatever from it, the first thing anyone should do is talk to your physician. Because think about this. It may very well be nothing, or it can be something huge. Like I just shared a video on Twitter last night where they were talking about this triangle of death thing about popping zits on your face, how it can turn to sepsis and whatnot. They told a couple of stories in there where someone just thought it was like maybe, I don't know, like a cyst or something, like just some bad, like local area affected on their body. So they just went into the doctors like all casually. The next thing they know, they're being rushed to the hospital in fucking ambulance because they're in sepsis. Their body's going into septic shock, basically. And because of that flippant decision to go into the doctors or to urgent care or whatever, just to get this annoying fucking thing taken care of, they ended up saving their lives, So that's the thing. Always talk to your physician, because it could be nothing, or it could be something huge that you never imagined. Anything's possible, but without the knowledge, you can't know that. Your physician is more than likely to have the knowledge, or at least the wherewithal to know that they themselves need more input. You know what I mean? So always talk to your doctor. Always. I can't stress that enough. Always. Hi, Morticia Adams. I like that name. I don't know anything about the fat acceptance health. I don't know anything. I haven't really. Is there really a thing? I don't know. Oh, it's Canada Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, Canada. Lima was also a former drug addict. Seizures can result from withdrawals from detoxing from drugs. Oh yeah, especially certain ones like detoxing from alcohol and benzos can be life-threatening. Should always do that under the care of a medical professional. You should detox from anything under the care of a medical professional, really, but it's especially stressed and emphasized to do so with alcohol and benzos, because that can be very dangerous. And I'm of the belief, and I will argue, that you should always do that under the care of a physician, even with opioids, because though oftentimes it's not fatal, man, it can feel like it is. And it doesn't have to be fatal for it to be fatal. It can just feel like it's fatal for it to be fatal. You know what I mean? So always should be done under the care of a physician, I think. At least talk to a doctor. See, that's the thing. Yeah, if you go online and you put like my word for it, all of you have a Twitter, especially Twitter. Hell, do it on Facebook too. Just put on there, whether it's true or not. Just put on there and say, "I got the jab." That's it. You don't even have to put anything else with it. And see the hate and vitriol that comes your way for having said that. Seriously. You're not telling anyone else what to do. You're just sharing that you yourself chose to get it. That's it. You're only speaking on behalf of yourself. But man, the freaking slew of people that will come and tell you how you were wrong to either do it and or speak on it is incredible. That's my problem. That's the issue I take. And the whole reason why I was even interviewed by CNN years ago is because I took an issue with how they attacked grieving parents or parents of kids who ended up sick due to a vaccine preventable disease, but especially parents of kids who died from a vaccine preventable disease because they, for whatever reason, they hadn't gotten the vaccine. I mean, I witnessed mobs of people forming in these anti-vax groups. One of the biggest groups at the time was Stop Mandatory Vaccination. And that's where most of it stemmed from. Someone would share something usually made or posted by a friend or a family member. They would then post it, share it in this group. And then all the other group members would come, but a good amount of the other group members would come in on this post and talk all kinds of shit. And then they would make plans to go out and find this post out in the wild and then start harassing the poster, which is usually the parent. So what I would do is when I saw this starting to happen, I would then reach out to the parent and say, listen, if you are getting any kind of hate, this is why, this is where it's coming from. Here's what you can do about it, should you choose to. That's it. That's all I did. Well, one of the parents was interviewed by CNN and they told them exactly how they found out about it, which was through me. So, and that's my problem. People can have whatever opinions they want, but when you start making actions, start going after people, start trying to attack people or just educate people on things that you are clearly not educated on, that's my problem. That's the only issue I have. You have every right to do so, and that right should remain. But that doesn't mean you have a right to do so without being called out upon it. Because if I see it, I'm going to do it. So. Oh, I thought that this might be what you meant, or Uncle Sal, but I wasn't sure because I thought when I read that, I thought I read it wrong. If it said Lima, then I must have made the mistake there because none of the names are added in the report. It's like a B or C or something like that. This in place of names. So I'm just trying to piece it together because it sounds better when I can actually put the names to the event. So it was probably my mistake in saying Lima. But you said the report you just read, the person said Lima died because of a medical device, blah, 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 but didn't appear to take the deceased person's prior drug history, could have been cardiac damage. Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. Now, this report was made in April 2022. Now, I don't know who made it. The knowledge of who made it may never be known, and whatever. I don't care. Whoever made it had every right to make it, clearly. I'm not arguing that. I'm not arguing any of the things said in it because I don't know if it's true or not. I don't know. I'm just arguing the fact of pulling from this as though it's evidence for an argument because it's not. If anything, it's going to be used against the argument down the road, like before you even realize it. That's the thing. That's my problem with it. I mean, I believe in transparency. I'm a big fan of that. And I mean, I make mistakes all the time and I come out and I try to come out and, state that it was a mistake and correct it when I can and when I'm aware of it. So, but I more importantly would rather to avoid making the mistakes to begin with. And I see this as a big mistake. So that's all I'm saying. I'm seeing posting this and use this as a mistake. And I don't think that the person who posted this meant to do so viciously or, I don't think this was intended in any negative way. I'm sure that the best intentions were applied. I have no doubt about that. I'm not saying anything different. I'm just saying that a little bit of research would have, I think would have shown it to be a mistake, maybe. I mean, I think it would have shown it to be a mistake. Whether or not the other person would have seen it to be a mistake isn't, I don't know. I think so, but I don't know. But regardless, this isn't a good argument to make because it will come back on you. It will. And it's not needed. Like, this really isn't even needed for an argument, because there's enough shit out there already. Like, all you have to do really, and I've noticed this too, just sit back and listen, because they make the arguments for you. Lena makes the arguments for you with the shit that she spouts. You don't need to go searching for shit and trying to turn it into something it's not, because there's enough that is. So. Yes, thank you. That's a perfect way to put it, Dirty Uncle Sal. The poster had their reasons, but they clearly didn't consider the problems their post could potentially cause down the line. That's it. That's exactly it. That's what I'm trying to say. Because like I said, I'm no expert in anything. I'm not even a jack of a few trades. I'm less than that, I think. But even I could spot the error in this. So, all right. And then I got to get going because I have to be working like 20, not even like 18 minutes. Oh, in a minute. So yeah, have a good day, everyone. Thanks for being here. I'm sure I'm going to get some hate for this, but hey, I don't care. I'm not trying to cause anyone else problems. I just want to keep things honest. I want to keep things transparent, because I believe, and I don't even want to say I believe in this, but like, this is something where I have interest in. I really detest people who spread misinformation in areas of healthcare and whatnot, or spread pseudoscience or whatever, especially for the purpose of just making bank, because that causes issues that are not reversible. So, and I don't know. I care, I guess. I don't know. I know this sounds stupid and whatever. Anyways, have a good day. Bye.